So, my name is Seema Sapra. I'm a lawyer in India, and I am what is called a whistleblower. I have exposed corruption, fraud, forgery, bribery by General Electric Company and its subsidiaries and personnel and staff, executives in India in connection with an Indian Railways project and tenders by GE for that project. I worked with GE as in-house legal counsel in 2010. I ended up exposing the corruption because my services were being attempted to be used for fraud, forgery, bribery, etc. I made complaints. I started to make my complaints when I was still with GE. I realized that a cover-up was being attempted, and they were not really going to investigate my complaints, so I escalated my complaints to the ombudsperson of GE at that time and to the general counsel of GE at that time, Mr. Denniston. I sent them an email, and as I will describe in later videos, I have reason to believe, and very good reason to believe, that because of my complaints, GE or people at GE started having me drugged and poisoned. And after sending that email to Denniston and to the ombudsperson of GE, I decided that I just needed to take a break from GE to be able to think, to be able to decide what my future course of action was going to be. So I took a week off, and I informed my colleagues at GE that I was taking this week off, and I told them I could work from home in that week, and they did get in touch with me and send me some assignments. After the week, when I came back to the office, to the GE office I was working out of, I was in my office, and my contract was terminated on the same day without assigning any reason for the termination. In fact, the termination letter that I was issued on behalf of the GE India subsidiary was on a plain ordinary sheet of paper, not even on a GE letterhead. It was signed by the human resources executive I had been dealing with. So GE, by terminating my contract when I was in the process of making whistleblower complaints, and when my complaints had still to be heard, GE, instead of following their own policies, protecting whistleblowers and investigating complaints, terminated my contract instead and started a campaign to target me, to finish me, and to destroy me. In these videos, I will be telling you people more about what happened when I was in GE, what were the complaints I made, what I did after I stopped working with GE, my court proceedings against GE and what happened in those proceedings, and the overwhelming documentary evidence that is now on the court records in India, both in the Delhi High Court and in the Supreme Court of India, that establish unequivocally that my complaints against GE are extremely serious, and that very serious crimes have been committed by GE executives, not only as part of their attempts to win that tender, and which involved corruption, forgery, fraud, but also obstruction of justice later, when my complaints were made and when my court case was filed, and how the Delhi High Court proceedings was sabotaged by GE and on behalf of GE, and how fraudulent, forged, invalid authority documents were filed in the Delhi High Court on behalf of 3 GE companies: the parent company General Electric Company and its 2 Indian subsidiaries, GE India Industrial Private Limited and GE Global Sourcing India Private Limited. I will be using these videos to provide more information about this, and I will also show on these videos the documents that establish my case against GE. Thank you. Thank you.